Hey guys, this is mattwandcow here, and this is my face. And, the fact that you're seeing my face here instead of a comic is not a good thing. At the moment of recording, it is midnight, and I've got 2 panels inked out of the 7 for the page. And so, I'm going to have to mark myself as a fail for tonight. I played D&D for until about 10, and then, got food, and then came home. And so I started really late. I didn't get as much done. I should have had it done on Tuesday, but I didn't. So I'm running really sluggish. It will be up Saturday. So I apologize for the 1-day delay on this. I did want a very smooth update schedule. I've already replaced 2 comics so far as they've come up. And yesterday's page I did receive a critique from someone, and they showed a much better layout that would get the same information across with much more interesting design, or at least not necessarily how they suggested it, but I was able to pull that into good suggestions. And so yesterday's page is going to end up being better, but I'm not going to worry about that for a while because I've been pretty sluggish in getting new stuff up, and I'm going to keep getting new stuff up and not worry so much about old stuff at the moment, unless it's like critical. So yesterday's changes, which haven't happened yet, there'll be a note below, in the little bar at the bottom, under my notes when I edit it and put it up, both there and on here. And so, yeah, I'm sorry that this is not a full page update. It'll be here Saturday. There are a bunch of stuff that's going to be happening. Oh, I'm going to talk about 3 things while I'm here. The revamp, the reboot, and the retcon. Revamp, reboot, and retcon are the 3 big major changes that are coming to my site. We've already started the reboot, and I'm kind of not doing as good on it as I would like. The reboot is like the first year or so of my comic was kind of like practice. And, now that I've seen what it looks like in color, I'm trying, in color print. Chapter 6, if I can get permission from the other creator, is the type of book that I should be able to sell. I might not actually sell it, because it does have someone else's character in it. But with that, I might have, a free type of, I don't know. I'm going to have to send an email, or maybe she'll see this when she goes through. So, hi Shannon! Thank you for letting me use Dave, if you do ever watch this. I'm sorry that I was planning on making a PDF that had, like, the entire comic, so I wouldn't have to go back and edit stuff, which is, by the way, the whole point of that thing. But I was hoping to send you an inked copy of all of my pages, but it just didn't happen, because life sucks like that sometimes. So, but, stepping aside from speaking to Shannon there, if I can call her Shannon, I'm kind of a, nobody in the comic world, and she kind of has a column on a comics site, and so I feel small and insignificant compared to her, like, one amazingly successful webcomic that I've ordered. I'm going to get in the mail, and it's going to be awesome, because I have one of her characters, and I'm going to need to draw. It'd be really nice to be able to, like, look at work to see what Dave looks like, because that will save me time. I was talking about something. Reboot. And so, anyway, the reboot is, from hopefully in Chapter 7. I don't know if Chapter 7 is a good start. Chapter 6 is designed to be a good start of this is where, a good place to start reading. And that's the whole point of this chapter. So, some of this information is going to be stuff that, A, I tried to tell and failed. B, or 2, I, said in notes and had, and C, I say in a much clearer way this time. And square, square? What is it? It's point, line, triangle, square, pentagon. Yeah, square. And square, hopefully some of this information is still interesting. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provide useful information that builds on what people should already know, and with new information and old information and combining it so it's something that, you know, contains a little bit of foreshadowing, a little bit of history, and a little bit of just world in generalness combining together. So that's what I'm trying with that. I don't know how well I'm doing, because I'm trying to worry about, like, right now I've got the story written, and I'm writing it as I go, and I have to reword a bunch of stuff as I go, and that's really annoying, and I'm wishing that I was better at my process. Working and doing a bunch of other stuff full time has not been good for my process. So, yeah. Tuesday was busier than it should have been, but my nights have been freer than they could be, so it's all So anyway, I think I've talked enough about the reboot. Everyone knows what a reboot is, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Secondly, the revamp. I'm going to be entirely taking down the site that you're probably watching this on, and putting up an entirely new site. I have not actually worked at this at all yet. I will be starting school, which pretty much means I will be sitting in front of a computer working on stuff. One of my projects is going to be the revamp. You know, so if there's anything that you think would be good to have, that you've seen on another webcomic, you've seen on another website, features that you find annoying, features that you think would be useful, anything like that, please send them to me. Because I'm right now assembling, what would you call it? It'd be called like a system requirements document. You know, a project management document of a list of requirements that I want for my site. Certain things are going to be tablet compatibility, where you're able to like swipe back and forth and it'll let you move from page to page, which now that I have a little tablet is of extreme interest to me. Another thing that I want is I'm going to divide up, you know, I want to add a search feature, I want to add a timeline, I need to add a characters page, I want to redo the archives page, where things kind of group together better. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain exactly what I want to do. I've seen some archive pages where it's like, here is a PHP rendered list of all 1,273 of our comic pages, from 1 to 9, and it doesn't tell you anything about it. But I'm kind of thinking of maybe making like a graphical interface, you know, not a major thing, but you know, you hit, like, I want to go to the archives page, and it brings you to this page where it goes, you know, here's the changes good, and here is the Spellscar Saga, and here is the guest art, and here is, you know, blah blah blah, and so it kind of breaks it up. Then you click on changes good, and it comes and goes down, chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you can click on the chapter, and it like will display it, and you can click the start of the chapter, and there'll be buttons that say go to start of chapter, hopefully on the main page. And then, so I'm hoping to do a bunch of stuff like that. A bunch of just really cool, you know, I'm a programmer. It's kind of how my brain's wired a little bit. And so it's nice to be able to come up with stuff like that and do them. And so I'm hoping to. So anyway, that's the revamp. Number 3 is the retcon. And what this means is that my chapter 1 that is currently on my site is terrible. It is horrible, and actually, I don't consider it canon anymore. I don't have script, but I did, you know, think about what it should be, and I had that flash of insight where everything kind of linked together, and, you know, that definitely, because, you know, some of the problems, the whole premise of, I tricked a supercomputer into teaching me magic because I told him the world was going to end, is kind of stupid. You can get away with that, you know, as a free online comic, but if I'm trying to make money off of it, that's not the type of thing that I can get away with. That is a weak and horrible plot. That is a first draft plot. I am ready to move out of the first draft plot and move on to a second draft plot. So there's that. I need to explain, you know, I need to explain Area 51, because I don't think that really got explained. I need to explain magic. Not necessarily explain how it works, but it just kind of happened. I need to, you know, the whole dad coming home thing is going to be way different. Really want to redo Inca Sen, because out of all of the characters out there, he's a very, you know, interesting part of my personality. And this whole world that I have is actually based off of a really weird conspiracy theory that you can see part of underneath the panels and speech bubbles that are in the page 2 of chapter 6. So you can't see. I can see it because I've got access to that. So, you know, and I do want to make a PDF, you know, a something or other. Maybe for donation. I don't know. I don't know how the business end of it works. I need to contact another creator and say, hey, look, I'm doing your stuff. I can't show it to you yet because I haven't done it yet, but I want to sell it. And that just sounds very, very lame. And so I'm going to have to come up with better. And I don't know. I have so much to do, and I don't have any time because I really want to go to bed so I can wake up tomorrow so I can do a bunch of stuff. And I still have a bunch of stuff that I need to do, and it's all it's hurting my head. So those are the 3 things that are happening in the comic. We're in the middle of one of them. Other 2 are hopefully coming soon. I do have to entirely redraw one. The current page, chapter 1, is not going to be lost. It's just going to be buried and hidden. And possibly lost. I do, as part of my New Year's resolution that I just recently came up with, I do want to try and spend 15 minutes a day working on the future of comic. Because I do only have, you know, I've got a season 1 of Change is Good. I don't really have a season 2. I do, you know, I have another 19 chapters worth-ish. Not quite 19 chapters. I do have another 15 chapters worth of story. But after that, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. You know, by the time I get to that point, maybe I'll have introduced some side character or something. But I do have a, you know, a superhero comic that I want to work on. I have a fantasy comic I want to do. I do have all these other projects. And so I kind of want to spend 15 minutes a day working on them. But I have not found those 15 minutes a day yet. So maybe I'm not entirely committed to it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. So I think that's it for this episode of My Face. So, this is mattwandcow saying, sorry, there's not a comic here. Look tomorrow, and there may be one. So, it's mattwandcow saying, stay in line, and I'll see you next time.